Hello, I'm here to talk about the biological old regime as well. I thought I should put my headphones on because I know there were some children noises and everything in um, the last video. So I want to talk to you here about that concept. Sometimes students will have a difficult time understanding what the biological old regime means, and so here's how we could try to understand it. Um, a regime means power, right? A form of government, and this is not a political concept, the biological old regime. There's no government called the biological old regime. There's no committee of people that's just sitting there planning out the biological old regime. Instead, you can think of it as the reign of biology itself over the way that people live and feed themselves and conduct their economies. Okay, the limits of biology um, on that in ways that people before the Industrial Revolution had not really figured out how to escape. Okay, now of course biology is still active after the Industrial Revolution, but the idea here is that um, in this paradigm called the biological old regime, um, there's tremendous limits compared to what we take for granted today on what people can produce um, in agriculture, how far they can travel. Okay, the kind of energy that people have available to them is what based on what they can grow, um, and what they can grow is based on the kind of energy that they themselves can put in, that they get from the sun, and that they, in terms of the sun uh, providing light and warmth for plants, and then the muscle power also of animals, okay, oxen and horses and donkeys and such. Okay, so plant energy and animal energy is pretty much going to be what people have. They have wood to burn, but all these kind of things are setting the limits on what people can do. So it takes a long time to travel, um, distances that we could travel in an hour by jumping into a car or jumping on a train. Uh, Not that people want to do a lot of travel by train during the coronavirus outbreak, but we can get to Chicago from this area in an hour and a half. Um, but that's 60 miles, right? And that's a long trip before cars and trains. Okay, before the Industrial Revolution. Um, in the biological old regime, people tend to farm in a way that feeds themselves and those that they might have to pay taxes to. Okay, but when you look out at the farm fields today, you see acres and acres and acres of corn and soybeans, right? And is that because those, well, in the growing season, not quite yet, right? In March, but is that because people farmers eat all those corn and soybeans themselves? They just really like corn and soybeans? No, it's because they grow them and then they sell them and then they use the money to buy other things. Okay, in subsistence farming, you grow as much as you can for yourself. Might even, often people would even make their own clothes as much as they could. Um, and then if they have some extra after taxes, after church payments, um, after um, feeding themselves, after saving seed grain for the next year, then they can maybe sell some, but that's not the main purpose. Today we have commercial farming, right, where people farm for profit, um, ideally, and that's just quite different than from the biological old regime, okay, which imposes these kind of limits on people. Again, it's not a government doing this to people, it's just what's actually even possible under the, the basically low technology from our perspective society that people live in. Now that's going to change as we'll see in the Industrial Revolution. But that's what the biological old regime means. If that's unclear, please do feel free to ask me questions. Thank you.